about my main interest is to experiment how to use this near protocol and some coins to finance the production of an art performance. So basically, it's really this idea of looking at experimentation to finance the process of artistic creation instead of just focusing on final products to be sold. So that's really, I mean, I talked about it with Marlon recently, and I will like to have a kind of first prototype very soon. Voilà. And now I'm in a hotel in Berlin that is not even my hotel, and I hope they won't kick me out before I go back to Paris.
Okay. Yeah, my name is Victor Morales. I'm in New York, upstate New York. I usually work in performance using digital media, mostly like video games. I modify video games to do performance, and I'm really interested on this cryptocurrency because I mean, I think it is obvious that the world has been changing for a while, really radically at many levels. And I think economy is one of the things that is changing, and I want to really understand this part because, yeah, this is part of the change that we are living now. So I want to understand and be there.
Next.
Hi everyone, I am Alex from Platoedro. I am co-founder of Platoedro. It's a non-profit organization about the art and technology in Colombia. I am very interested about the crypto ecosystem, and I can see the near opportunity for facilitate the people come in this technology. For me, it's very important to learn about this and share them with my ecosystem because they are artists and entrepreneurs, people of the common life. For me, it's very important these people learn about this. I am very enthusiastic about this. NFT and staking, everything, I like it too much because it's a new moment. It's the second renacimiento digital renaissance.
And by the way, Lenara speaks Spanish and fala português.
Nice. Thank you.
Hey, I'm in Brussels. My name is Steph. I'm kind of the organizer of a very, very small self-organized space called Res Gauche. And with this small gallery atelier space, I'm very interested in thinking how to create a kind of way of working here, a possibility which is not necessarily an answer to the between space between the commercial and the state funded. So I'm just really interested in researching how through distributed cooperatives or decentralized forms of organizing, there can be an alternative way of working within these kind of spaces. My background is in contemporary dance and performance arts. I really am trying to learn the best I can to learn more about coding and all these new ways of writing smart contracts, but I'm really bad at it. I really have to learn a lot more in this sense. So that's where I'm at. So lately I'm more into making music. So yeah, of course, that's why I'm also trying to catch up. And I worked a bit on NFTs a while ago with like a fictional artist. Was using a bit Mint-based, but then yeah, I have a lot of questions that I technically have no know-how how to solve.
Hola, I am in Venezuela. I just want to say that if I disappear from the screen, it's because my internet is really getting, sometimes, and I get back maybe from my cell phone. So, well, anyway, yeah, I think I am a very grateful, and I don't know how to say, it's really an open, beautiful space. I feel that the connection is really like, wow, it's so amazing. And I am very, I have to go, I am very ignorant about all this. I'm just, getting into the crypto because coming from a dance and art and design background, I've been kind of curious how this is going to work for artists, maybe can make a better world, can make artists become in a different way, sort of more, I don't know, not so much ego trip, and maybe we can make some better, better work for all of us. And that's what brought me here to learn, and of course to see if there is some creative. I love technology as a designer, multimedia designer. I love technology and I love dance and art. So, and of course, economy is a big issue. And I live in Europe for like 15 years and I came back to Venezuela. I don't know the story you were telling, Marlon, about somebody coming back to Colombia after many years working in the United States and in Europe is the same. I came back to Venezuela and I haven't been able to use any technology. So my technology now is really like a very old laptop, and well, I'm here to learn and to collaborate. That's it.
Thanks, and thanks so much, Marlon, for inviting me to this wonderful space you created here. So yeah, I prepared some notes to show you. I kind of mix, there's some technical stuff, like if it sounds too like too techy, don't worry about it. It's just kind of to have like as like in the background as a reference. But yeah, then there's also some other more fun stuff. So we can try to understand a bit about NFTs, and it really, they could be almost anything, and I believe a lot of the things they can be, we haven't even invented yet. So you're super early, like, congratulations for being here as kind of pioneer time in like, I'm sure this is probably going to grow, and we're going to see it become more like a common thing, right, that people like are used to. But right now it's like kind of something weird and new that very few people are doing, and it sounds a bit crazy. But also it's a really great time to be there, because you can really help shape things, and like take a part, let's say, in this history, even if it's like a small way or maybe a big way, we don't know, right? So yeah, so that's kind of my introduction. I'm currently also in Berlin. So yeah, and then so I have some slides, but feel free to just kind of ask things, and as I go through, and then we're gonna have some like practical part where Marlon's gonna actually mint some NFTs with us. So that should be fun, and you should receive some too. So you're gonna have, I don't know if you already have. Do you already own some NFTs? Some of you, just as a curiosity. Yes. Yes. Okay. Cool. So we're gonna get some extra ones. And have you minted yourself some NFTs? Yes. Some yes. Some no. Okay. Cool. All right. Nice. So cool. You're already involved. So let's see. Should I start? Should I share my screen?
Yes, you're allowed.
So let's see how I do this. Here. I think this should work. Let's see. Okay. So first I put this word like token, which is used a lot. And of course we have physical tokens that maybe, you know, some of you have experience. Like I personally have experience with phone tokens in Brazil, and they're very, you know, peculiar how they work, and they're very precious because, you know, they were connected to communication and being allowed to, you know, call and talk to people. And for a long time, phones, because in places like the United States, for example, you know, I guess you put coins in the phone, but people like you mentioned from other countries like Venezuela, money, you know, there's lots of inflation going on. Like I lived to like hyperinflation in my teens. So it was kind of doesn't make sense to have coins because, you know, like they become worthless, or maybe you need like a suitcase full of coins to make a call. So if you buy a token, it represents like a few minutes or seconds, I forgot, depends, you know, depends if you're calling your city or long distance, right? But I think if you're just calling in your town, one token was worth like 3 minutes of a call, doesn't matter how much you paid for it. But then there's this digital version now that is being called like a token. And what can it be? And I think actually in New York, the subway had tokens like a while ago. Like tokens are kind of old. Like I don't know if people still use physical tokens for anything these days, right? But the word kind of like technically was chosen as like the best word for representing this thing, and is this blockchain object, like a fully digital object. So it's a digital, like a digital asset, right? It represents something. It has like a value of something, or can be exchanged for something. And then it's the blockchains makes it like a secure. So that means that, you know, it has kind of like how can I say, like strong, you know, like not a physicality, but like a uniqueness to it, because you cannot copy, right? It's like really like a has characteristics of an object, even though it's like a purely digital thing. So now we're back to calling things tokens. And then there's this whole thing like NFTs, right? Non-fungible tokens. And then, I don't know, probably read so many articles about it, and they all start by explaining that NFT stands for non-fungible tokens. And what is non-fungible tokens? And this is actually super, like, kind of sounds like technical and kind of boring actually. And I actually don't like it personally, that we have to kind of go through this. For example, like if you use like images, right, or online, there people, you have JPEGs. And who here knows what JPEG means, like the letters? Does anybody know, can tell me from the top of their heads? Marlon, do you know? Right. So who needs to know, right? I think that we kind of have a fixation on this, like NFTs being non-fungible tokens, but I see them more of JPEGs, like something that we use. We don't really need to go into the details, you know, of what the letters mean. But I'm actually going to go through it, but not because I think it's really, you know, critical.
Joint photographic experts group.
Yeah, yeah, you win.
Google win.
Oh no, I said the top of your head. You don't win. You had to know it by heart, not by Googling. Yeah, well, if you Google, then you can find anything. But nobody has in their minds, right? Like, do you know GIF? PDF?
Graphic interchange format.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Hey.
And PDF
Portable document.
something.
format, I think. Anyway,
Format.
those are a bit easier. JPEG is the hardest, right? JPEG is really hard to figure out what that is. So I guess NFT is not as bad as JPEG in that sense, right? But then there's this thing about, okay, so there is non-fungible. So it's already no something, right? It's like a negative. So wait, what about the fungible part, right? And then what the fuck is, sorry about cursing on the recorded Zoom call, like you put a bleep later or something. But what is fungible, right? So that's kind of becomes like all these like questions. So let's see what I have. So yeah, here I have actually like a slide about fungible. I'm not gonna go, I think like this is about the non-fungible, right? But I guess the first one that we're gonna see is the most important part, like in this little circles, is that each unit is interchangeable with another, right? The fungible one. So what does that mean? So wait, I had like a slide for that, sorry. Yes, my slides are going too fast. Sorry about that. Let's see if I can, there you go. Okay. Yeah, actually I had a picture of money. I guess I took it out of my talk. But let's say you borrow 20 bucks, right? Marlon borrows 20 bucks and I return him. So let's say he gave me like a 20 bucks bill and I gave him like 2 tens. It doesn't matter that I gave him like a different format, right? Or even if I did give him a 20 bucks bill, like he doesn't care, it's the same one. It doesn't matter. Even though the banknotes actually do have serial numbers. So you can actually check if I loaned you, if you return the same or not. Like likely you didn't, because probably if you asked me to borrow it's because you needed to use it. So it's probably, you used it already, you already passed it on. So likely not, but I could check actually if that's the case, but nobody ever does that. You only do that, like, I guess if someone robs a bank and then you that's why they use that for, not for any means of wanting things like, like having some uniqueness to the notes. Each one is supposed to be just worth their amount, and you don't care about, this little tiny serial number. And if you loan it digitally, if I just kind of like Venmo or whatever it is that you use to send some money digitally, or just like a bank transfer, then forget about it. There's really no marking whatsoever, like in a physical note. Is just really a number, 20. And then if I return 20, that's it. There's no, it's completely fungible. It's just numbers on a screen. So most things are actually non-fungible. Very small things like money, for example, is fungible, but most things are unique. So if Marlon, if I had borrowed like his jacket and then I return another jacket, it's like, what's going on here, right? I guess I could try to go buy the same one, but maybe it's actually a unique jacket that, like a family member knitted or something like that. If I go walk your dog and I come back with a different dog, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever, because it's a very, very unique thing. It can't be exchanged by something that you don't care about. Of course, you can have like, kind of like a spectrum of things. Like if you think about it, things that it's kind of a nice exercise. What kind of things are more unique? And using this example, I said that if someone borrowed, you have to return the same one or not, right? So whatever, if the answer is not, that you don't care if it's the same one, that means that thing is towards the fungible kind of end of the spectrum. And then the more pissed off you would be if the different one was returned, the more unique and non-fungible, let's say, something is. Okay, so that's kind of like the example here. So this image is actually an artwork. It's a collaborative art. I think it's like, I forget, it's like 12 or 13. There's quite a lot of artists that created this image together, and it's actually interactive. You can change it. It's pretty cool NFT actually that we're looking at. And then I put here like a bit of like, this comes like the technical part, like the anatomy of an NFT. So when we have like this non-fungible token, right? We have the token part, which is basically a record on the blockchain. And one thing that is already like a difference when you're talking about the NFT is that they have a unique token ID. So when you create like a fungible token on the blockchain, each one is the same. So it's not like the banknotes that have serial numbers. They just say, okay, I created 1 million tokens. They're really all the same. So the only thing you track is who owns how many, and that's it. Then who transfers to whom and things like that, and just how many. That's it. Not which ones. Like it's not like a bank. Like if someone like robs the bank, I can't go look at the serial numbers. But the non-fungible tokens each has a unique ID. So that means that if I pass on, like, I sell or I gift or whatever, like I get hacked and someone steals from me, like an NFT, I can trace by that ID all the owners, everything that happens during that token life. So the ID is like a unique thing. But then the NFTs are not just a number, an ID, they normally represent something. Let's say the one I showed before, which is an artwork, right? So all this that is connected to maybe it's like an image, or maybe it's like actually a multimedia kind of file, it could be like a dance performance, or it could be, I don't know, like a song. It could be anything you can, think of. So that is what we call the metadata of the NFT. And this is like an interesting thing that this part, let's say that the one I showed before, which is an artwork, right? So there's a blockchain smart contract, it will mint that token. So it will say, okay, this is the ID. But then what it represents, it will be okay, maybe it's like a description, like the names of the artists that created, the image itself. In that case, actually several images because it's interactive. So, it's like several images you can change. So all that is actually not stored directly in the blockchain. Because the blockchain actually is horrible for storing things. It's really actually, very limited amount of information that can be stored in the blockchain. So the only thing that gets stored is what's called a hash. So who knows what a hash is? Cool.
If I remember correctly, it is something that puts an integer into character, something like this.
That's going, yeah, not bad, not bad. So I think I have.
It's a cryptographically process. It's a process of kind of scrambling it in a way to make it difficult to decipher. Or kind of that's kind of there's a process of a mathematical.
Yeah, it is a mathematical process. It's also like a one-way process, right? So if you have a file and you hash it, you can always verify that that file will lead to the hash. But if you have a hash, you have no idea just a hash, you have no idea what the file is. I guess my slide got stuck. So this is what was the one about the stored on the blockchain and the stored externally, right? So these are some names of where you store the file itself. And both of them are it's seen good as it's like a decentralized storage. It's not like just like Amazon, servers or something like that. So this is my slide of a hash. So it's basically a cryptographic signature. So the input here is like a JPEG of a cat. So you go through this cryptographic function and there's like a little string of numbers. This one is 32-byte hash, right? So basically I process that file and this is the result. So what happened is that I can check. For example, let's say I'm like a whistleblower or something. So I have some secret documents and I'm going to publish them. But first I'm gonna, what I can do is like I take those documents and I, do the cryptographic hash function to them and generate a hash. So let's say I post on my Twitter, I have some documents that I'm gonna reveal that are in my possession, and this is the hash. So I just post a hash and it's a public information. So you don't know what it is, right? But let's say like, if I die, I'm going to release these documents, whatever. I don't know. I'm figuring out some crazy. I think people did this actually. So then later, when the documents are released, I can prove that though I have those documents because I created the hash, and the hash will always match, the documents. If I change a single bit in the document, so here, like in the cat picture, you change like some pixels in the cat, like now it's missing a whisker. The hash is completely different than the previous one, right? So if you alter that file in any tiny way, like even like one character, one pixel, doesn't matter, the hash will be completely different. So it's also a way of authenticating a file. So in the case of an image that is an NFT, what happened is that I cannot store the whole JPEG in the blockchain, but I can store the hash because it's small enough. And then I have kind of like proof that that is the image that corresponds to the token. The hash is what links those two things. So it's kind of like an important part of an NFT. Not all of them use them actually, like some just don't care so much about this. So they're like, NFTs and NFTs, some are built more kind of like with more concern for all this like provenance and, signatures and significance, and some are like just more like sloppier made. So let's see. There you go. So here's an example of how this looks, right? So this is an NFT, and the token part that I mentioned, the token ID and the metadata hash. So this was in the page, I guess I have the NFT, I'll show you in the next slide. And it shows all this information. So here is the storage gateway is where it's stored. So it's in this Arweave, which is like a separate storage solution that is also a type of blockchain actually, that gets mined and everything, but is used for storing files. And it creates, this hashes. So this long number is the hash from the NFT. And then the ID has owned ID. So this is one ID of an NFT that is owned. So normally when you mint, there is a smart contract that mints and it kind of increments. So the first NFT that you mint probably has token ID 0, and then the second token ID 1, and keeps kind of going up. So this contract had minted at least 57, I guess, if this NFT is during its life, and this person owns number 56, right? So all that is stored in the blockchain is that this person owns from this contract, the ones minted from this contract, owns token number 56, and the hash that corresponds to whatever the token is that long string, right? So then, yeah, there you go. Here's like, if you take a look at the metadata, so that long string corresponds to a text file. So the metadata also comes in kind of like layers, so to speak. So normally the hash, the hash that gets written to the blockchain is to a text description, because sometimes like there's several things connected to the NFT. So there's like a description, there's like an image, maybe there's like a video, there's like several things. So if there are several files, each will have their own hash. So I create kind of like an index of all of them saying, okay, this is the description, and this is the hash for the image. This is the hash for like a document. This one has like an animation. and some other things, so all this goes into this text file, and the text file then will store all more hashes. So it's kind of like a string, like a chain in itself of several documents. And that's kind of like this anatomy of what's going on when, someone publishes an NFT in the blockchain. So, oh yeah, this is actually the NFT in case. So it's like a collaborative zine. So it actually started as a physical object, and then it was digitized, and there's like a little video of, showing the pages, and there's like a PDF that you can actually print the zine and things like that. So the title, description, etc., etc. This is the NFT that I was showing you before. So they can be quite complex. They can, have several things connected to them. And so some of the use cases, right? What can be NFTs? And I'll bring some, and if you know of more, you can also tell me other things you know. So this one is a digital art, right? And this term, like rare digital art, is one of the first kind of like terms that were used to describe this kind of thing, because digital art is by definition, can be copied infinite ways, and it never, degrades or anything like that. Like a digital file is reproducible, like without any loss forever, if you never lose it. But then with the token, the blockchain token connected to it, it can become rare. So it can become like an original, like a unique kind of art. And that's kind of like a very, how can I say, it's like it opens up a lot of possibilities. So for example, you can sell digital art. And I don't know if any one of you did digital art, but it's kind of really hard to sell it. If you do a painting, you can sell it, even, you can just go on a street fair or whatever you want, because it's an object. You give someone the object, they give you money. That's kind of easy, right? But if you make digital art, it's not easy at all to sell it. But now that you can put it inside, linked to a blockchain token, you can sell the token. And that's how you can sell digital art. And that's actually like one of the main use cases at the moment. And I think the reason is because it's totally unique. It's something that was not possible before, something that, open up a new market and a new possibility. Like if you want to use for other things, maybe there are things that were possible before, but you're just doing it a different way. But this really created a totally new use case.
Lenara, what happened if I, for example, in digital art that is like a JPEG, for example, so I can take a screenshot.
Yes, of course.
So yeah, in that case, what I can take a copy, yet the ownership is what is guaranteed, or
is the token. So the
itself?
ownership is in the token, not in the JPEG, right? Of course, the hash of the JPEG is, embedded in the token, so it represents that. But you cannot own just a JPEG, right? You can have a copy in your computer, but you cannot own it because you can duplicate it so many times. So you can access it, you can have a copy of it in your computer, you can look at it, but you don't have this kind of like exclusive, ownership of it that you have in a token, because the token comes with this thing where it's registered in the blockchain who owns it, and that you cannot tamper. So basically what you own is the token. And the JPEG is freely accessible, and it's actually great because if you have an artwork, you actually want people to see it, right? So I asked this question to some artist friends, like if you had to choose, someone is going to buy your artwork for $1 million. Would you like it to be bought by a museum, that is going to exhibit it And or would you like it to buy in like a private collection where they're going to keep it in their basement, and and people cannot see it, and everybody wants their artwork to be seen. So the fact that anybody can copy the JPEG or see or whatever is actually great, because you want your art to be seen, right? And what is owned is not the JPEG, is the blockchain token. And we see some artwork being sold for ridiculous amounts of money these days, right? So, and then they get resold for even more ridiculous amounts of money. So if you own this, it can become even like a monetary investment or something like that. You can actually make a profit from selling digital art and things like that. And then of course a lot of people come and say, oh, but I can just save the JPEG. It's like, yeah, but that's not what you're buying. So I mean, I think the best analogy is that it's a signed copy, right? Because what happened is when you were using your wallet to mint, your wallet is like your personal signature. And and there's this cryptographic signature attached to it. So it would be like if I had like a book, right? Like an author publishes a book, and they print millions of copies of the books, or thousands, I don't know, or even ebooks, right? But if I have a physical copy that the author made like a like dedicated and signed, that is unique and special, and it's different than just downloading the book or something like that, because you cannot copy the signature, or if I photocopy the book or whatever, is scan it. So I still own the unique object. So that's what the token is like having the signed copy. So if someone just owns the JPEG, it's not being signed, it's not being registered in the blockchain, it hasn't been cryptographically signed. So that's why it's valuable, and that's what you're buying. You're not buying the JPEG, you're buying the token.
And the other thing that I think is it certifies the authorship, certifying also who minted, right? So
yeah,
if I can say, and then that way, I remember that you actually created some work, but you were giving them away. So that was like an interesting thing that made me think a lot. It's okay, I'm not selling it, I'm just giving it away. It can be a gift.
yes,
but
yes.
In a way, it is my work. It's the problem with authorship also has a possible solution.
Yeah, well, you can say that person signed, with their wallet. So it's kind of like a, like in a way, is a digital signature that is attached to the artwork or whatever it is that you're creating. So yeah, so this is like one use case. And let's see what else I have. So here is like a voucher for goods and services. So you can create like an NFT that represents like a physical thing. So in this case, this one was for a beer, right? And you could redeem it for a real beer at this event. I bought a few. They were much cheaper, actually. It was like $2 or something. Now, I guess that now that's kind of a weird thing, right? So you could buy it for $2, kind of like a price of a beer, and redeem it for a beer. So, but then if you didn't redeem it for a beer, if you kept it, now it becomes kind of like a souvenir, right? So if you have like a ticket for an event, and it is like an iconic event, so it becomes like a memorabilia or something. So now you can actually buy someone is selling it for $77. So maybe you just want to have them for historical reasons, it's not because you want to drink a beer at a certain particular time. So this other one is game assets. So this is actually like a blockchain game that I was playing the other day. I don't know if you played. It's called the Pixel Pets. So all these NFTs are so far. I have some on other blockchains. These are all near NFTs. So the previous ones were like mint-based NFTs, and this one is called Pixel Pets. So you play this like kind of card game with them. They kind of battle each other, and then you kind of train your pets, and you can get like eggs to hatch more pets, and then you can actually sell the pets. So after you play a lot and train, they become more powerful, and you can sell. And then when it says sell on the market, there's this little icon, this little P, because you actually sell. They have their own token, their fungible token that the game issued. So all the currency actually is done in their own token. But then of course you can also exchange it for other tokens that have a monetary value, so if you really want, you can actually play the game and make money from playing the game, because some people will want to have more powerful characters, so they will buy them. They have money, but they don't have time to train them, to become more powerful. So they just buy the characters, and then they can play the game. And if you want to spend time training, then you sell them and you make some money. So that's like a use case, and also works really well with digital things, because the game is also very digital, and you can have like a little economy inside a digital game, and actually connected to the real economy, right? Because I think some games, they did have their little economy, but you couldn't connect it to so easily. I think some games you could actually like kind of make a deal, like using like, I don't know, eBay or something to sell your character, but it's not so straightforward. It's not like just transferring an NFT. I don't know how you had to do to sell your, I guess you had to meet, like you couldn't sell the character maybe, but you have to give them a password, or if it's like a weapon, like you had to meet the person in the game and give to them, things like that. So this makes it really easy to do this kind of like game transactions. And this is a nice use case that I have, is like a VR clothes. So in this like VR world, so you have like your avatar, and you can buy clothes to wear, and it's quite cool. Like this one is on another blockchain, is on the Polygon blockchain. And you can create your own clothes. So there are clothes designers, and then you can put them for sale. This one actually, it was a promotion. So you went to an event and you got this, or maybe, I think you could either like, this was like a double promotion. Like they would like make like it wasn't like for everybody that went to the event, but they would give away a few, like do like a draw. But you could also buy using their own token that they had at this event. So I forgot if this one I was given for free or I bought with their token. So I own one of them. And here it shows that 28 people own, and someone is selling them for $500, almost $600, right? But you can, that's because kind of like historical, connected to an event, or like you would buy like a famous like sneaker or something. With the good thing is that if you wear the sneaker a lot, it's gonna get dirty and it's not gonna last forever. But the virtual clothes will, so you don't have to worry about it if you're wearing them or keeping them in like their pristine condition. They always pristine. Yeah, and you can also resell them if you want, or create your own clothes and sell them. I actually have funny, like an art brand clothes with my friend Karen. It's called Crypto Couture. And it's kind of fun to design these virtual clothes and dress your virtual self.
Very
and also
to design one that gets older.
Yeah.
Actually,
yeah, right. You swap it for like a red, like a dirty one. Yeah, that'd be cool.
But where is Crypto Couture? Where can we see it or buy it?
So this one, you buy it on OpenSea.
OpenSea.
And
okay.
Yeah, and the name of this virtual world is Crypto Voxels. And they have some really interesting events there, like parties, and just get together, like even classes, like learning and things happen there. Maybe we can have like a meeting in Crypto Voxels if you want at some point.
Yeah.
And also
call this crypto. It's
Crypto Voxels. Crypto Voxels.
Okay. On OpenSea.
So actually, Yeah, and you can go to their website, cryptovoxel.com. And also they sell land. So it's like a land deed, right? So every week or so they mint land. So they kind of slowly expand the world. There are several of these virtual worlds, like CryptoVoxels I like a lot because it's really easy to build. It's kind of like Minecraft. It looks a bit like Minecraft. I don't know if any of you have built stuff in Minecraft, but it's pretty easy and to build. So if you buy some land there, you can then build whatever you want. It's actually quite expensive at the moment. I bought some land when it was cheap. Now it's like super expensive, like, geez, like $10,000 to buy a piece of land or something. But you can also borrow, you can rent the land, or you can, just kind of, people can grant you access just to build without owning, of course, because, they are super expensive. And then it's really crazy. I really like there, like, you see so much variety of builds. It's a kind of a vibrant place. And then you see the people around, and when there's an event, and you really get the feeling that it's people there with you in this virtual world. And of course, with, pandemic times where so much became online, this was also a boon to virtual worlds. And there are several of these worlds that are connected to the blockchain. There's the CryptoVoxels, Sandbox, Decentraland, forgot the Somnium Space is another one. So there are several, and they kind of look different. They look a bit like video games, but different video games. So CryptoVoxels is like Minecraft, and it has this DIY feel to it. I like it a lot. So yeah, so these are like, several use cases that come to mind. But I don't know, maybe you came across other interesting things that you want to suggest for examples of NFTs. I think the last one that I have is the one that I guess we're going to mint today. So proof of attendance is kind of like an interesting concept. So they even call like POAP, like a proof of attendance protocol, I guess is the name of a service. But anyone can create their proof of attendance. So that means like if you went to an event or, or to a class like this, you can receive, instead of like a certificate in paper, in NFT. And that actually works, for example, to identify, people who did something. If you want, let's say, to create like a special reward or incentive. So I say, oh, okay, I've been doing this virtual event and I'm giving the proof of attendance to my guests. So now, for a 1-year anniversary or something, I want to give like a special gift to all the people who came to my events. So it's really easy to find them because I just look at who owns this NFT, and then I can just send them something if I want, like another token or, like a thank you note or money. I don't know, whatever I want to send these people who have the proof of attendance NFTs in their wallet.
Yeah, that's so then you can track historically easily, the history of the, for example, like this is an interesting concept because also it says the first, like in how I remember that when it has the 01.
All right, yeah. Yeah, so this one was a course that I taught in Madrid in February 2020. And so this was the first class. Actually, this was just, before COVID, so I didn't teach any other ones. I was scheduled to teach others, so that was the first one. There's also the 0, which are the kind of beta testers, like people that just kind of tested the course before I had the real first class. So there are 2 issues. There's the 00 and the 01.
Yeah.
And the reason why I put the first owner is because you can actually sell it if you want, right? Because all NFTs you can transfer, you can sell, but because this is a proof of attendance, only the first owner received because they attended. The other ones just bought it. So it's not like, if you want to buy like I don't know, a diploma, right? But of course, what happened is you will know that that was not the first person. So you know this person who bought it or got it didn't attend, right? But if I'm say, oh, I'm going to give like gifts every year to whoever goes to my courses or my events, what happened is if I buy my NFT, if I sell, the new owner is going to get all those gifts actually, right, in the future. So in a way, that's what I'm selling, not being there, but the right to receive, or, you know, whatever it is that became connected to being there.
Right. So, I mean, one use would be, as in your use, like, for example, if I do an event, or any one of us do an event, a talk or a show, the ticket is in itself has an NFT, so it can be it can be a way to like have some value, also communicate with the people that came to see the show later on. So this is a really cool way to just stay in contact with the people that came to the event.
Yeah. I'm going to an event next month in New York, and the tickets are NFTs, right? And they have this nice system. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but it's like this. So you buy the ticket, it's an NFT, and it's black and white. And then when you arrive at the event, you show your wallet. And then if you actually go to the event, they change your ticket from black and white to color. So I don't know if they're going to change the token itself. So if you're going to just swap one token for another, so some people do that. Like in case of the beer, you had to like transfer the token out of your wallet to receive the beer, the one I showed before. In the ticket, it could be that you had to transfer the black and white, and then they will transfer the color. But depending on how you store the metadata, which is the image, right? You can actually change it. So this is like, what I was saying is that normally you store the image in like this decentralized place, and you put the cryptographic hash into the blockchain. So that's if you want the token to always point, you know, always represent the same image. Like if it's a work of art, you don't want it to change most of the cases, right? But if it's something else, let's say if it's a ticket, then it's not so crucial actually to have a cryptographically signed hash to a specific image, because maybe you want the image to change. In that case, you want it to become color instead of black and white, right? So in that case, you probably would not put the signature hash, and you probably you know, we'll have a way to upgrade. Maybe the description part is stored in like a more blockchain storage solution, but the image, you will have like 2 versions, and it will be something you can upgrade.
Yet, for example, like Victor, that he has like avatars or things that he has created for his pieces or something. How do you do that? How do you give access a person to a virtual space or something? And
so what happens in the crypto voxels, for example, is that you sign with your wallet. Let's see if I can access just as an interesting thing to show. CryptoVox is kind of like resource intensive, so it might become like
I
don't know if it's going to I don't know if it's going to like crash Zoom or something. You are in CryptoVoxels? Okay. So let's see if I can share the CryptoVoxel screen instead of the one I was sharing before. There you go. Okay. So what happened in CryptoVoxel is you sign with your wallet. So here it says sign out because I'm signed in already, but if you're not, it will ask you to sign in, and then you will use your wallet to sign in, instead of like a login, you know, kind of like your basic.
What wallet? Which wallet?
Is an Ethereum wallet, so you're going to be using MetaMask to sign in. And then you can, for example, here you can see events that are going on. So right now there is like a Club Neon has like a, something going on. And also you can see where people posted. It's kind of like a Twitter feed, but it's called a WOMP. So it's like you post a picture, and if I click, I immediately teleport to that place. So it's kind of like a nice way to see what's going on. So there's lots of art galleries, and then you can go and check what's going on. This one's kind of interesting. Oh, this was an event, but 17 hours ago, and you can see that lots of people were there. But the event is probably over if I go. I can try going to this place here that says there's like an event now, to Club Neon. So let's see. Event is live, so I'm going to visit this and see if someone is there. So it kind of takes a little bit to load. It's kind of like loading the parcel. I guess there's lots of stuff here at the moment. Yeah, it's very kind of trippy, this place. Very good. And so this is me. So you have like this, oh yeah, there's some music. Or I'm dancing. I guess they have like a script that you start dancing. There's like several dance moves that you can choose. So I'm doing a floss dance. Wait, let's say savage. Oh yeah, here's someone. And there's some music playing. I think I didn't check my Zoom to show music, right? You cannot hear music. Okay. Anyway, so not many people at the event, but and you can see some like
you have a gallery there also with Elon, isn't it? Or something.
Say it again.
Do you have a space there with Elon?
Yeah, yeah. I own some spaces in Crypto Voxels.
Yeah.
Now I'm just kind of like I left that space and just like, and you can also fly. So then you can kind of like move around the space.
Yeah, and how do you transact here so you just buy something and then you pay it in Ethereum?
Yes, you pay in Ethereum. So if you want, for example, let's see, go back to the main site. They have like land auctions every week where you can buy the land. So here you click buy parcels. And this is what, is being, so all of last week, primary sales are closed out. So last week they sold everything, but I can check. So this is like, for example, this one's kind of looks nice. And I can check, how it was sold for whom, etc. So this one was sold, I guess, for 2 Ether, which is about $7,600.
So that's cool. So then to actually sell it and prove it, you have to go through an NFT site creator. That's
yeah. So when you go here, for example, if you go here, you can see the parcels that you own. So I have some parcels that I own and some parcels that I am a collaborator. So I can build, even if I don't own, you can authorize someone to build in your parcels. And also you can have different costumes. So these are like some of the costumes that I have with the clothes. So this one is the giraffe on the unicycle. And this is the one that I'm wearing now. It's called the Swamp Thing. And then you can, kind of like have different clothes. Yeah. And you can change the clothes you're wearing. And all these clothes are actually, I own them, they're NFTs. So I own like a ridiculous amount of clothes. It's kind of one of my weaknesses. So if I go here and see, I own 107 different CryptoVoxels wearables NFTs. Some I made myself, so I didn't buy them. Some I exchanged, some that I made, with other people. So it's not like I bought, and they're really cheap. Like most of them are really, really cheap. The ones that are expensive are because they're like, I was given in an event and now people are reselling, but most cost very little to buy. So, yeah. Anyway. So that's a super fun kind of use case for NFTs, at least for me. I enjoyed this. And it was also very creative. I know people who are actually like, teenagers or, young, that they create these clothes and they can actually sell them for people and make some money doing that.
And then, for example, you can connect then music files, video files at any length, because it's stored then. For example, if there is a dance piece or a dance film that is like 10 minutes and it's high definition, that can go to IPFS or
or Arweave or
whatever. But you host it in this other place.
Yeah, most places will host either on these two decentralized storage solutions. The one is called IPFS, and the other is called Arweave.
Okay.
So yeah, and that's where your video or image or whatever is, or 3D model, whatever you want to be your NFT, will be stored.
For example, like Dance Tech has a collection. I have a collection of like 23 pieces that all the authors gave the right to, let's say, to publish. So if I talk to them and say, hey, let's just create a choreography or else collection, but now through NFTs,
Right.
So I would have to ask them how many do they want to issue. I think they say, okay, it will be a 500 or a 1200 or something like that.
Right.
Of each piece. A piece can have then many numbers of issues.
Yes, you can have an edition of several. And also another interesting thing is that the NFTs, kind of like most of them, the contracts and the markets, they will pay royalties. What does that mean? That if you sell an NFT, normally about 10% will go to the original creator of the NFT. Right? And you can even have multiple people there. So not all have that, not all contracts allow for that, but a lot of allow. And the one on Near actually allow for up to 20 people.
Wow, that means that if I have a dance piece that has like, the designer, and then the 10 dancers.
To be like the performer, the choreographer, the designer, whatever. And you can decide, let's say, okay, so the choreographer will get 20%, and then each performer will get 10%, things like that. You can divide in that way.
So that means then every time that is purchased, that gets immediately.
Yes, immediately. So it's automatic. So let's say that, I sell it for $1,000. So 10% will be $100, right? So in that case, so $20 will go to the choreographer automatically, and $10 will go to each performer. automatically the moment it's sent, it's sold, it's immediate.
Yeah. Can the choreographer, let's say, or the owner of the piece reissue the same thing, or can't change the amount of for example, I exhausted, I sold the 1200. So can I reissue, come back to the same contract and issue 1200?
Yes,
will be
technically yes, but normally what happens is that when you issue, normally you decide the editions.
okay.
So you can decide this will be this many, and normally you can reduce the number, but if you raise the number, that is not seen as a good thing.
Okay.
So you would have to create like a different version. You have to be a different version to be reissued. So normally what happens is, let's say you issue 100 editions. So what happens is, of course, if a piece has more editions, the value for each one will be less, right? And if it's like less editions, it will be more valuable. So that's how it works. So people who buy it, they don't see as a good thing that you're issuing more because you're diluting the value. But if you're reducing, let's say you issued 100 and then you sell them for like a month or a year, I don't know how long, and you only sell like 30, right? Then you can decide that you're going to burn, as they call it, all the ones that didn't sell. So all of a sudden, the people who bought, instead of owning one of 100, they own one of 30. So it became actually more valuable, each one of them.
Good. Wow.
Yeah. So I don't recommend, technically it's possible, but I don't recommend reissuing more if it's like something like that. Of course, if it's something like the beer, for example, right? In that case, it's fine because it's something that you're supposed to, exchange for like a physical object. But if it's more like an artwork or something like that, then it's not seen well if you issue more.
Yeah, great.
Can somebody put this places are weave and IP what? So we have them, so I can find them. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So what happened is, normally this is automatic. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to do it yourself. When you mint, the minting contract already takes care of it for you. So it would automatically be uploaded to one of these places. So you don't have to worry about doing that yourself. It's all kind of included in the package. It's just so you know where they are, but you don't have to do it yourself.
Okay. So that means that when I buy something, I get access to that file?
It's a public place, so anybody has access. Like you say, if you want to save the JPEG, anybody can do that.
Okay.
Right? So when you mint it, it means the file is out there for anybody. Doesn't matter if it's selling or not or who owns it. That media, it's out there. You're publishing is like in a public place.
Okay, great. It's like, okay, in the case of these pieces, they are available right now, so, but it will be interesting. I've been thinking to then have an NFT
because
gallery.
it's kind of a shift. It's interesting, this shift, because with digital things, let's say, like a movie or whatever, it's really hard to sell, like I was saying, right? So what has been done so far, people sell access, right? So access to watch a film or access to listen to a song or whatever it is, right? So, but then it's hard to restrict the access because it's easy to copy. So you have to put all this technology, this, like DRM, this copyright, all this crap that of course some people are going to find out how to circumvent, like crack those protections and stuff like that. Because you're trying to force something into the digital file where it's really easy to copy because you want to be able to sell something. And then what has been sold so far is access, right? But now with the NFTs, access is free because it actually doesn't make sense to sell access. Because as I was saying, like if you're an artist you want people to see your art. You want people, if you make a movie, you want people to see your movie. And if it's going to be of historic significance or whatever, emotional or just fun, doesn't matter, or weird, you know, the whole purpose is to be seen. So you don't have to restrict access. It doesn't make sense anymore to restrict access, because there is something you can actually own, which is the blockchain token connected to it. So if you want to sell, you can sell the token. And that's what you can own. And it's much better than owning access, because if access, it becomes just kind of like, how can I say, like, it's like an experience, right? When you watch something or read something, of course, some forms of art are an experience. You go to like a performance, you know, or something like that. You know, not all of them have like a enduring physical quality, right? But what you can own now is something different and unique and extremely valuable, because you can actually resell it, like I was saying, right? So if I buy access to watch a movie, I watch the movie, I spent like, you know, a couple of hours watching the movie, and that's it, right? I kind of like, it's kind of like at some time that I spent doing that. But if I actually own the piece, like, you know, like if it's like a performance and I actually own the NFT of that, that has a much kind of like strong quality to it, right? Because it becomes almost like as if owning a physical thing, because it has all these characteristics of a physical thing that you can, you know, it's unique, that only one person can own. And then you can, if you transfer to someone, you don't own it anymore, right? So like having like a museum collection or something, I can, you know, transfer and things like that.
For example, if Jen has a project, right, for in 2 years, and you can crowdfund, for example, with you issue a bunch of NFT and said you can crowdfund for that as a, you know, and then you give to these people certain kind of privileges or, you know, airdrops, etc., in relationship to the funds that probably she
Yes,
gets.
yes, exactly. And also, like I was saying, for example, if you give them NFTs, it's really easy in the future to give them more things, because it's easy to find this group of people who own, you know, the NFTs and you know, give them other tokens or other things that, you know, can be valuable. Yeah.
It's like you're issuing some shares from your future work that you can say, and then you can guarantee some funding from the beginning.
Yeah.
You know?
So I bought this NFT from this artist that he created this kind of funny characters, right? And he said that they're called like mutts. and he said that in the future, he wants to have like a connection with the people who collected his artwork. So if you own one of those, you know, he will have all kinds of things that he wants to give, like, you know, like when he writes text, you have like you can read before other people, for example, you know, his drafts, or if he does other things, you know, he will give some to the people who own his artwork. So it's kind of nice that he wants to have like an ongoing connection to the people who supported and owned this artwork. And it's really easy to do it because you can just find the wallets, you know, the people who have them.
Hey, I had a few questions. One is exactly about what you were saying, how to create that connection. Is it through a website, or how do you...
Can you be loud? Can you speak louder, please? Can you talk
so
louder, Steph, please?
my question is basically, how do you create that ongoing relation with the owner of the NFT? So if I sell an NFT, does it go into the Near wallet? Does it stay on base?
So it will go to the wallet, right? So because the blockchain is public, you can see at any time whoever owns the NFT, right? So for example, when I was doing the hat, right, that I here you can see, for example. So that hat that I showed, that I own, right? You can see who else owns the same hat, right? So here it says that there are 42 total of those, and 28 people own. So here's everybody that owns the hat. So some people own more than one. I only own one. But then these people own 3, you know, or 2, etc., right? So then basically this is their wallet address. So I have a list of their wallet address. So if I want to send them something, I just send to their wallet. And if I want, for example, the people who have 3, I can send 3 something, right? If they own more than one, for example, you can say they're my, you know, really strong supporters because they own 3. So I can send more to them if I want. I can also check when they bought it. So maybe someone who bought first are my early supporters. So I can, you know, give something extra to them. And then people who bought later are my, you know, younger, whatever, recent supporters. So all these things are registered in the blockchain, like when, how many, and, you know, which wallet, who bought it. So you have access to that information. Is like a public database.
Okay. And then another question on the virtual clothes. The items in crypto voxels, are these virtual clothes like coded so the avatars can wear them, or what's the technicality behind this? Because this I don't understand.
Yeah, so basically they are a 3D model. So you create in a little 3D software that is for voxels, right? These little blocks. So you create, and they're very, very chunky, like, because it's kind of like I said, like this blocky Minecraft kind of aesthetics. But it's really good because it's really easy to create. Like you don't need to know a lot of 3D modeling or anything like that. You just place the little blocks and paint them and stuff. So after you create them, you mint them using their, you know, NFT contract. And they become an NFT, you know, you can sell and stuff. So what happened is when I connect to Crypto Voxels, I use my wallet to log in. So it knows the ones that I own because they are all NFTs in my wallet. So it knows which ones that I own. So when I go to that page that I show with my avatar, I have a list, you know, to place the clothes. So because it's in my wallet, it shows in that list. And then I'm able to place in my avatar. So when I enter the world, I can wear, you know, whatever clothes that I have NFTs in my wallet.
Okay.
Yeah, so just any other
Can I ask?
Lenara, we
Can I
can
ask a
do
question?
also the, yeah. I just have to be aware of the time, you know, for me it's fine. You know, there is something about minting that probably even we can do the next session or something, but anyway, so yeah, because for me, the discussion has been very, very cool.
Yeah.
I mean, when you presented the piece of art at the beginning and by different artists, and you say that it can be changed. So technically, what does this mean? You know, like you can, once you own it, can you explain a bit more?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is a project called async, async.art. So what they do is that, let's see if I can share here, and I show that. It's a very cool concept. So what they have is that the artworks actually have several what they call layers. So let's see if I can find one here. They have an explanation. I'll just go here to the art gallery. Okay. So let's see, what is this one? Really autonomous. Okay, no ownable layers. I think I have only, they are quite expensive actually on this platform. I own one NFT only from this, I can find here. There you go. Oh, actually I published one with them. So this one is kind of a nice one. So this artwork has background 1, 0, the circle, and 5. Those are the layers, right? So here, if you see, this is the 1, the 0, and the 5, and then the background. And then what happened is that different people can own these different layers. And then if you own the layer, you can change the layer. So here you can change the state, and sometimes you can change like the position, or so this is those are the possible states of this layer. So basically I can switch between any of these states, and what happened is it will change this like middle part of the art. This one has several colors, I guess. Oh, it's a clock, I see, so it kind of goes around. So when you create, you already decide what's going to change. So you can change just the state, so you switch for a different image, but you can change, for example, the position, or you can change the color, you know, things like that. I think, let's see.
But what you change is for the future buyers, not for the one who already bought it.
Yes, when you buy it, it already comes from this, with these like possibilities, right? But they are only like, they only, let's see, black circle. I'm trying to find one that has like,
determined the kind of, they're predetermined. For example, you as an author, you said, okay, the person who buys a layer can change between 5 layers, 5
yes.
options. Okay.
Yeah, you already choose. So for example, this one, you can change these 4 parts of the image, and then the background, and you can also change, I think, the color. There's also changes that happen on a certain time. So for example, in sunrise and sunset, you know, it changes the color, things like that. Yeah, but then you have to predefine all this. So it's not like when you buy, you can put a different image in it. All the possible images are already inside. And then they change according to, because the owner of a certain part decided to change, or because, you know, a time change happened.
It's like you're selling like a modeling kit or something. It's a bunch of different pieces that have a structure.
In a way, yeah, it's a little bit like that. Right. So let's see if I can access my layer. So
I see it like a template more.
yeah. So for example, I own, let's see which ones here I own. So this is one that I own. I own a layer. So what happened is I can change the state of this, and these are the possible states, I guess. So it can be more blurry or more sharp. So what I can do is, let's see if I can, have to figure out how I change it actually. Yeah, there you go. So here it shows, for example, I can, you know, like if you know, people can change, and it kind of alters the image. So this is kind of subtle. Some are more like intense.
The different system for the layers, is it from the platform, or is really the artist who develop the different layers?
Yes, each artist will create their different layers, and you can have collaborative ones too. So you can have several artists, and each artist creates like one layer, for example, and then they all come together in one image. So that's also like a way of doing it.
Hello, everybody. I have a proposal for you. It's like, as I see, it would be really nice, Lenara, to have you the next session with us. So then the next session, the plan was going to go to I think it will be to go to what is left of NFTs, that probably we can do what we thought, that instead of me only creating one, we can create a contract to allow us to all create in real time, that everybody can do that for next
Good
session.
idea.
And then create a token. Talk about for next session also about fungible tokens, kind of to do those two things. Because I'm aware of the time.
Yeah, we're over a bit, sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, how do you think? How do you feel, everybody, about that?
I just wanted to. You were talking about mint. That will be maybe also possible to talk about it.
About what? I'm sorry.
Minting.
Or what that means?
No, that will be possible to talk about that the next time. I mean, that's not what you're used to. Yeah, I don't know if it's possible for next one or now. I don't know if you want to continue, but it's already long talk.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, it would take some time,
for the...
but the idea for this one, actually, we ran out of time, but was actually to mint an NFT today together. And what Marlon is suggesting is to mint in the next time, not just this one together, but maybe each of you can also bring something to mint.
Yeah,
right?
I'm sorry, I have no idea how to do that, but that's why I was asking if you can talk maybe for the next one. That's what you were saying, no? Like we are going to talk to do that. Actually, yeah. Okay.
And what is that we should bring for next session then?
Whatever you want to mint as an NFT,
Yeah,
anything, any digital file.
Okay, good.
There's like possibly on Mintbase that you can mint a website, but I don't understand. Is that like the URL or is that the whole?
You can put just a URL, but even if you can mint also like a screenshot of the website or a PDF of the website or a video of the website. But you always need at least a thumbnail. So even if you just mint a URL, you will need to mint at least like a little screenshot, like or an image to be presented. You will need to have.
Yeah, and for example, Reina, you have some work that you have done also in Photoshop or things like that, because that's also, you can use layers and things like, that's how you put layers. It's literally a Photoshop file.
Yeah. In the async is like that.
Async, yeah. But
So,
of course, we will be, in this case, the test limited of what we can do, or the possibilities of Mintbase that we will use with Near. Yeah.
Yeah, but is there any difference between minting, let's say, a JPEG and an animation, like in terms of what it implies?
Well, it depends what you want your NFT to be, right? So maybe it's really important to be moving or not, you know, for whatever it is. But maybe it doesn't matter. So you just choose what you feel is best for your case.
Is there any limitation on the time, or I mean, like?
Well, there is a file size. So if you mint, I think it's 30 megabytes. So if it's like a video, you have to be more careful that it is not so big. And I think for the image, they're going to reduce to 3 megabytes, but I don't know if it's already reduced or you can still use 30. I have to check.
But if you have something file very huge, you can put it first in IPFS. And what is this platform that you mentioned before? Are we or the other IPFS? Yeah, you can put it and have the hashtag in this. Maybe we can use some tools that put on the file very big and put it in this platform and get the hashtag, and then you main this in the in the another platform for NFTs.
Yes, you can also put, I think, a link to YouTube if it's already there in the video. You can also do that. So yeah, it depends on what it is. We can do several ways of minting it.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
use saying that it's like a piece of antique digital art that is, that is the first trailer of Dance Tech.
Nice.
2007, and I think it's such a cool trailer, but it's old. So
Nice.
yeah, so that's gonna be one that I will gonna mint part of the history.
Well, I think for the first one, just think about something simple and that will fit this limit. And then for the next ones, we can think of more complicated ones.
That's well, that's good.
If you want, I can share my first token and my first NFT. Sorry, I have NFT in Paras
Oh,
platform.
nice, cool.
So if you want NFT, it's only share the wallet. I transfer it for you for anyone.
Yay! I'll transfer one of my paras to you too in exchange.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. So so that how do you think, Lenara, is the best to share the wallets? Or remember that I asked you that exercise of going to the profile of DanceTech and put some of you have done it, isn't it? So yes, so that's the main thing is you go to, I think it's update profile, something like that. And then you just copy your wallet in it's the last question. It's the last question. So then in a way, in the group, we will have, I can share the screen with that. Let me see, hold on. Yes, so then in the group, so if I go to the page of the group, for example, if I go to here, all these people, the idea is like all of you would have the wallet. So for example, if I go to Jen, I can go here and she has a wallet here. So this is her wallet, okay? So then you can actually find it in each
Okay.
other profile. So for example, I think Steph also.
But it's easy because you added a box.
Yeah, I added that question
cool.
and explained.
Super cool.
So the main idea is that all DanceTech members will have a wallet that then we can transact, etc. Right? So or any kind of digital access to the blockchain. So
that would be the question that says text box, or
you will, if you go to your profile.
I'm there.
And then I think you need to go. It's the last question in your profile, or I think you have to go to update. I don't know how that.
Update.
So. I think it's settings here.
Yeah, I see it. I see. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's settings. You just go to settings in the right with your
Got
logo.
it.
So.
Okay.
Okay, so there is. Oh, I have not put mine.
Mine is up there
put
already.
yours. I
Aha.
put mine.
I forgot the landscape.near. Okay, so save landscape.near and I save. So yeah, so I think it's very useful then for us that everybody who's in the group have that, and then we can do any kind of giveaways, transactions, etc. Okay.
Excellent.
Cool. So yeah, so what do you think? Well, thank you, Lenara, so much for, bravo. Thank you so much. And this is the digital world, the Zoom sparkles. And so here we are. Lenara is part of the group, it's an honorary member. So, And then we as a DAO, it's very transparent that we are paying her. So, you know, like this, she's paid by literally my honorary and transferring to Lenara. And awesome. So then now we have to decide as a DAO for the next session also to do the transfer of the funds. Okay. And the other thing that I'm going to say is that this course, instead of 4 sessions, I am proposing to be 6 sessions because of what happened today. The content is very interesting, and it's an interesting group. So we will go, yay, from the 2 sessions that we have now. I'm going to ask for funding for also for 2 sessions in November. Okay. So, and that will be the prototype. It's a really nice prototype to do it again in January. Okay. Very good. So that's all from me.
Thanks again, Marlon. It was really, really great to be here in the group.
Thank you all so much. So
Thank
much
you.
information. My head is full.
Thank you so much.
Don't know what to do with it yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe a week
Yeah.
or 2.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody. And then please use
Merci.
you also. I'm also opening the group to send messages to the whole group. You know, you can also leave send a message. As I send you messages, you can go to the group and then send messages to group. You can do that. And
Okay, so that's sorry, I interrupt you, but that's really something that I'm very interested with the group, is to that we can be a support to each other. You know, because I feel kind of lonely trying to do these things. Yeah. And I think it would be amazing if we can, you know, like interact with each other to help each other.
Yes, so of course, you know, we're using DanceTech for communication. That's what I'm opening for everybody. Can shower a message to everybody. And you can also send a message with the same network to each other, right? So there is a way of, you can just leave a message to someone or post someone within the group. Of course, it will be interesting to discuss next week if we can open a Telegram group for all of us, for example, and then we can have something that for this group, okay? And then it feels a little bit more.
Just a practical question, like, is it possible still to add persons to this group, or how is it happening? Because Dorothea, she joined today, but like...
yeah.
But then
well, you know,
are interested, or how
does
this work?
I know someone who's actually very into that, and I think he's also kind of alone. I could imagine he would appreciate it. Is it possible that I tell him?
Yeah, just tell the people. I think that for example, you have been here, so, and we are in the 40%. So what about if you join DanceTech, then find the group and Steph can tell you, because that's information that we need to have, and then just show up, you know, and then there are 2 sessions that are already pre-recorded that it will be nice that you can go through it, okay? If it's you, you know, it's you that, or is the other person?
It's more for a friend of mine.
Okay.
Is that okay?
I think it's okay. Well, you know, what do the group thinks? Because, you know.
It's so terrible. It's so terrible. It's okay.
I think he should join DanceTech first. I think he should join DanceTech.
But I will for sure have a look on DanceTech. No worries. Like, sounds very interesting.
Yeah, so then tell this other person that, of course, that to joining is participating. Is literally, and it's a commitment, because in a way we are going now, this is the 3rd session and we're going to have 3 more, okay? And if the person, you know, for example, I had a criteria from the beginning that if you don't show up for 2 sessions, you don't get your certificate at the end, all right? Okay. So we will have to negotiate that. you know, I don't know. I think that those are me being very top down, but if there is a way of we can negotiate that, we can with a group, I think it's fine. If person is interested and responsible, and you know, it would be nice to have someone else. All right. And there is all this recordings, so that it would be nice that the person can tell him to get in touch with me.
All right.
Okay? Through the network, and then, or Steph is part of the council. So, but you know, I'm so used to do stuff on myself that I'm like, anyway. So,
right. Thanks, Marlon.
Okay, thank you. Okay, everybody. So that was fun. And stop recording.
Bye-bye.